Hey, hey, ready to get started learning how to play the saxophone? I'm sure you are. So the first thing, you should have watched that video that shows you how to put the instrument together. And if you did not, make sure you go back and you find that because it is so important that if you don't put the reed on correctly or don't put the saxophone together correctly, you're not going to get the right sounds. So you really want to make sure that you put your reed in the correct spot when every time, of course, so that you don't get any squeaks. So if you're getting, once I show you how to make a sound, if you're getting squeaks and stuff like that, maybe watch that video again and just make sure that your reed is in the right spot. So to make a sound on the saxophone, I'm actually just going to take the head joint first with the mouthpiece and the reed all put together. And what you're going to do is you're going to curl your bottom lip like you don't have any teeth, and then you're going to put your teeth on top. So I curl, I stick the saxophone in about a third of the way, and then I put my teeth on top and seal it up. So I don't want any air to come out the sides of my mouth. I want it all to go down the saxophone. So I curl, put it in, teeth on top. Now, if you get a not so nice sound like a honk or a squeak, again, check the reed, but also make sure you don't have too much in your mouth. But if you get too much, it's definitely gonna make a squeak. If you get too little, it could get a squeak and it also might just not make any noise at all. And also, if your tongue is blocking the little tiny hole right there between the reed and the mouthpiece, then it's not gonna make a noise as well. So you curl your lip, teeth on top, seal it up. Now when you are blowing through, just like we talked about on the recorders, you are going to tongue the note. So instead of just going hoo, hoo, you're going to go too, too. So you're going to use your tongue to make that too sound, the tonguing noise. So if I go hoo, here's a hoo first. It doesn't have as much control and it doesn't sound as good. But if I tongue, it sounds better, and it'll be easier to play the notes and play faster as well. So when you're tonguing, your tongue is actually hitting against the reed, ta, 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 not the tip, it's hitting right here, ta, 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 ta. It's really hard to show and explain because you can't see inside my mouth unless you have x-ray vision. So anyway, just make sure that your tongue is hitting here and not on the actual tip. So practice that, see if you can get a nice sound before we move on to the whole saxophone. Okay, so now I've got my saxophone all put together again. Make sure you've got the neck strap in place so that you don't drop it. But you also want to make sure that it is supporting the saxophone. So it's not you that's supporting the saxophone, it's really the neck strap is holding it there, taking all of the weight. So you want the saxophone to go right into your mouth. If it's too low, yeah, that's not gonna work. You don't wanna have to hunch down to play. You also don't want it to be too high, or you'd have to reach your chin and that will not be comfortable. So you want it to go right in perfectly. You don't want to have to bend down or put your chin up at all. So let me just kind of show you then. I've got the saxophone against my leg. So I'm sitting in the chair here and I'm on the edge of the chair. Let's see, I'm on the edge of the chair. And then the saxophone is against the side, my side leg. That's much better than going against the chair. Like if you sit back like this, it may end up hitting the chair and you don't want to scratch the saxophone. So you're going to keep it against your leg like that. And you want to then, of course, make sure that it's going straight into your mouth. All right, so let me turn back around this way. So let's talk about hand placement. So the top hand is your left hand, and if you look back here, there is a button right here. Well, it's not really a button, it's just like a circle. Yours might be black, so it might be easier to see. A lot of times they're like plastic. But this is the circle that you're looking for back here. And you can see like there are a couple of keys back here, and then there's this little like hook-shaped one, but you're just putting it on this circle. And notice like it's not a key, it's just a place to put your thumb. So that's where your thumb goes, right down there on that circle. And then your left hand, if you come around here, this is where your fingers will most of the time be resting. So finger number 1 goes right here. Now some saxophones, this little key up here, sometimes it is like the same color as where your fingers go. A lot of times this is white and not this colorful colorful circles that we've got. So if all of them are the same color and they're all white, you just have to make sure that that top one you're not playing. But it normally looks kind of shaped like this. Sometimes it'll be just like a little circle. So just make sure that you're not playing that top key. And you can see it opens this over here. So that's not where your first finger goes. It goes right here on this one. So then you're gonna skip this little tiny baby key, and you've got your second finger down, your third finger, and then your pinky can play all of this stuff here, so I'm just gonna keep it up in the air. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Again, make sure that you're not playing this top key, and yours probably looks, probably is white and a circle. So really make sure that you don't play that one, but you'll know because it opens that side key. And then you're gonna skip this little baby key in between. So then the bottom, you can see there's this big round key down here below the neck strap. There's also this hook right here, and this is where you put your thumb to kind of help hold the saxophone. And when you've got your thumb in here, you don't want the thumb to be way over here. You want it to be right here. So like just a little tiny bit of my thumb is sticking out. And that's gonna help me so that I can get around the saxophone and I don't bump any of these keys that are like in here. I don't want to accidentally bump any of these keys with my fingers, so I'm trying to make like the biggest amount of space so that I don't bump any of those keys. All right, so down here, this one's easier to see where your fingers go because there are just 3 of those circles. And again, yours might be white, might be black, just depends on your saxophone. So those are your 3 fingers down there, and then your pinky play has some options here, so we're just gonna keep it up in the air. So we've got thumb, 3 fingers. Really make sure that you've got lots of space in there so you don't bump any of the keys. And then here you've got your thumb on the circle that doesn't do anything. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, skip the top one, skip the baby one. So those are where your fingers go most of the time when you're playing the saxophone. All right, so we are gonna start playing the saxophone really soon. All right, so what I like to do is set my music up on a music stand. If you don't have one, just try to find a place to prop up your music. And I like to keep my fingering chart really handy and have my band packet ready to go. So this first one right here, number 1 that we've got, this is a whole note, and it is on the 2nd line. So the lines, if I do my every good boy does fine, so every good, this would be a G. And it gets 4 beats. And then we also have the whole rest as well. Then also notice we've got 2 dots, 2 lines. That would be a repeat sign, so I would play it twice. All right, so the G's go all the way down to number 4 here. They're all G's. So right here for number 2, a G, except this one gets 2 beats. And then we've got our half rest, which gets 2 beats. Then we jump down here to our quarter notes. So still G's, except we've got 1 beat. And then we've got number 4, all G's again, and we get down here and we've got our quarter rest, which gets 1 beat. So how do I play the G? Well, I can look over here at my fingering chart and I can try to find the G that looks just like this. So the G looks just like it. You can circle it if you want, so it's easier to find later on. And when you're looking at this, you're looking for the ones that are filled in. So 1, 2, 3. And again, remember we're skipping that, that little baby key. So this is just your top 3 fingers on the saxophone. And let me show you what that looks like. Okay. So right up here, you've got fingers 1, 2, 3. And you've got your thumb thumb back here, even though it's not doing anything. So we've got our 3 fingers right there for G. All right, let's play. All right, so here is number 1. One, two, three, 4. 1, 2, 3, repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now we're gonna go move to number 2, and number 2 has our half notes. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then we've got number 3, which has our quarter notes. Oh, and don't forget, you can pause the video at any time. So like watch number 1, pause it, practice. Watch number 2, pause, practice. All right, so here's number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here goes number 4. Alright, so now 5 through 8 focuses on our new note A, and you can see that this is on the space. So I'd spell out face, F-A-C-E, so F-A, this is an A. And then I've got my half notes, which get 2 beats, and then I've got my dotted half note, which hopefully you remember from music class gets 3 beats. All right, and then we go down here and we've got all A's again, but now we've got the 8th notes. So hopefully you remember that 2 8th notes equal 1 beat, so that means our 8th notes are going to be faster than our quarter notes. So you could think do, 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 day, do, 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 day, do, day, do, day, do, do. All right, and then when you go down here to number 7, now we've got A's and G's, and hopefully you can see the difference. A is in the space, G is on the line. So we've got A, G, and repeat. And then number 8 goes back and forth between A's and G's. And what I like to do is count my notes as I am going. Like in my head, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, rest. And that helps me so I don't get lost in all of that. So now we need to figure out how do we finger the A. So if I go over here, I find that A, and you can see that only 2 are filled in. This time for G we had 3, A we only have 2. So let me show you on the saxophone what that looks like. So again, I've got my thumb back here, but then up here I've got 1, 2. So that's an A. So 3 was G, 2 is an A. All right, let's play. Here's number 5. Here is number 6. And number 7. Repeat. And number 8. Make sure that you're counting in your head to 4 so that you can keep track of what measure you're on. All right, happy practicing. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice all of these, of course, but then you are going to focus on number 4 and number 8. Those are the ones that I want you to record and then send back to me on Seesaw. So you may have to play them a couple of times before you get a good video to send, and that's totally fine because that's what this is all about, is practicing so that we can get better. So number 4 and number 8. So keep practicing them till you get a good take. You can delete the ones that that don't go over so well so you don't use up space on your iPad, and then make sure that you send me your good one, number 4 and number 8. All right, happy practicing.